Hello everyone, my name is Daphne King and welcome back to the channel where I talk about all sorts of books and things. As 2025 has now officially ended, let's look back upon my reading year at my reading wrapped. In 2025, I read, ironically, 25 books, which is not halfway to my goal. My goal was 50 books. Safe to say we didn't make it there. But that is still about 2 books a month, which I'm pretty proud at, as I'd say 2025 was a pretty busy year for me, and I was glad that I was able to get that many books in. And I actually think I didn't log all the books that I read that year, because I also read Romeo and Juliet for the first time last year and I didn't log it in, which I'm pretty disappointed about since it's a little too late to do that now. I feel like it would be cheating if I put it on my 2026 reading goal, which I will get to the end of the video. My most read genre for this year was young adult. This is the one that I mostly subbed in the most. The app that I read it on is not Goodreads, unfortunately. I got really peeved with Goodreads when I first downloaded it, and because it asked like what books I've already read. So I was like, oh, Harry Potter, the first book. Yeah, I read that when I was like 11 years old. So then I put, yes, I read that. And then it just like kept on putting Harry Potter books on it. It's like, I don't read this stuff. Not anymore. But young adult, it makes sense that young adult is my most read genre. I think after young adult, it's probably mystery and then romance. But all like my mystery and romance fall under the young adult area, just because that's the genre that I like most. It makes sense why I've read mostly young adult this year, and it's my guess for 2026 that I'll also read a lot of young adult. In 2025, I have read a total of 7,544 pages, which is about 4 days, 7 hours, and 44 minutes spent reading. When I first looked at that number, I was like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. But then I realized that's for a whole entire year, 365 days. And assuming that at least half of that was spent sleeping, maybe a third at school, and then it makes sense for about 4.5 days. But I'm hoping for 2026 that I'll be able to read a lot more. My biggest format was printed books. I don't think I read anything over an e-reader, and I don't have like a Kobo or a Kindle. So that's also a reason why I didn't read any ebooks this year. And I probably have more softcover than hardcover books, and my opinion on that is that I like softcover books more, although I love my hardcovers. I love them. I don't like when the sleeve starts ruining, and then I always forget like when I'm reading it to take the sleeve off, or like I use the sleeve as a notebook, as like a marker in the book, and then it just gets like crumpled. But like I really like hardcover books, so like when you take off the sleeve there's like a little surprise. I've not read Powerless, and I just found out that it's literally plagiarism. Side note, there's a lot of talk about how Powerless is like a whole entire copy of this other book called Lightlark, and I think I want to read Lightlark first before reading this, because I haven't read this. I've had it for like a year and I still haven't read it. But like if you remove the sleeve, oh, pretty nifty, pretty cool. Reread probably 3 books this year that I've read previously, but within the year I have read the same book twice. I'm not quite sure which book that is. I'm pretty sure it's Love and Gelato or Those Kids from Fawn Creek. Both amazing books, so they definitely deserve to be read again. As said before, I don't have Goodreads. I have this other app called TBR Bookshelf, and I've liked it for the past few years. It's pretty glitchy at times, and I think I want to go back to Goodreads, you know, maybe like revive it for myself. But if it's like a young adult, it has a heartfelt rating. So my highest heartfelt ratings were the Love and Gelato series, so Love and Olives, Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and also this book called Just Coded by Carrie Firestone. Most books that I've read in a month were is January, March, April, and August, with 4 books. So I started out the year really strong with 4 books, like almost every month, but then there was a couple of months where I would only read 1 book, 0, maybe 2 if it was a good month. So I think that's what really set me back on my goal. My highest rated books for this year were, of course, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, The Mockingjay. Oh, I understand why they're at the top of my list. I love them. Over this year, which I kind of forgot that I read the Trials of Apollo series of like the Percy Jackson series, which are on my Percy Jackson shelf, and I forgot that I rated them so high and that I did like them, and I did read them this year. I read the first one, breeze. The middle 3, they were a bit hard to get into, and then the last one, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Also really high on the list was The Sun and the Star, which, thinking back, I think it's just because I'm pretty hard with my ratings, and these are like the new reads. Any rereads, I don't think it counted, because the Love and Gelato series would be pretty high up there. My largest like genres within young adult was romance with 8 books, mystery with 7 books, children's books with 5, so that's like middle grade, and I think all the Percy Jackson books also counted as children's books, a couple of classics, 3 classics, 2 horror books, and 1 literary fiction. So now that we have my 2025 book draft all done through, let's talk about what my goals are for 2026. I've set my goal for reading, for how many books I read this year, to 36. And looking back at last year, it's a bit of a jump. But I think that if I am able to power through it, if I read 3 books a month, I should be good. And I definitely think that I have some large breaks that I wasn't using to read last year, and I was probably just doom scrolling, to be honest, which is something that I really want to fix this year. I want to spend less time on my phone and spend more time doing stuff that I love, like reading. And I have already finished 1 book for the year, A Cuban Girl's Guide to Teen Tomorrow. 3 stars, by the way. But this year, I hope to read, in 2026, I hope to read all of my physical TBR, which on my bookshelf, there's currently 13 books that I haven't read that I really need to get through. Or like I started reading them and then like I got like halfway through and then I just stopped, and I need to finish those books as much as it hurts. But I bought these books, I put money into it, so I really want to finish them. There are some problems though, because I have Once Upon a Broken Heart, a part of the series. But the thing is, I bought it thinking that, like, and I love Stephanie Gardner. I read Caraval, I think that's how you pronounce it. I read Caraval, and I was like, okay, that was good. The rest of the series, I'm not sure if I really want to read, but like this other book of hers sounds really good and I want to read it. Turns out you need to read the other series to understand this series, so yeah, I have a couple more books ahead of me before I read that one. And there's just been a couple of books that I've been putting off. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'll read Powerless next time once I finish this book. And then I find a new book at like a library, or like someone gives me a new book and I'm like, well, I just want to read this one first. And I end up putting it off forever and ever, which is the reason why I have a lot of TBR books. I feel like 13 is good and that I will be able to get through it this year. Right now I am not reading a book that is on my physical TBR. I know I'm already a hypocrite, but it is a book that is technically in my house. So we'll see what 2026 gives me for my reading year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.